As we know, given current circumstances, live events
are at a halt.
That does not mean that our campaigns need to come to a halt. With that, today's inspiration is in how are we going to attract people through re-engagement. And what does that mean? Re-engagement, and what I mean by that, are people that are already familiar with who you are. So you have a cold market, people who don't yet know you. They haven't had the opportunity for a first impression. It's a very cold market. Now that has a much longer customer journey than people who are already in your current network. People that are warm, right? So a re-engagement campaign is leveraging that warm market. So in a scenario right now, such as events, where our events are put on halt, right? Yes, we can leverage our time, and we should always have some sort of tactics out there that are attracting a cold market. But we don't want to forget about our warm market. So, for instance, when I was in the mortgage industry, our re-engagement were companies that have closed with us but didn't do business with us in the past 6 months, and then we had a different campaign if they didn't close with us in the last year. Now that may not be appropriate for everybody, but for something that, for instance, the mortgage industry that we did, they never moved forward, and it's been 6 months, it's been a year. You may have a much shorter customer journey, okay? You may want to re-engage with them a lot sooner than 6 months. First, what we need to do is we need to understand who it is that we're talking to before we know how we're going to better attract them, okay? And that stands for any sort of marketing, really. But today, what I'm talking about right now is how can we use re-engagement? Why do we want to use it, and why is it beneficial? What it's for, who it's for, and what to do. Okay, number one. The first thing we want to do to create an effective re-engagement campaign is to make our list. So, what does that mean? First, we want to consider everybody who's already in the network, already people that you've talked to. They've already had some sort of first impression. Where can you pull this from? It can be from your LinkedIn. It can be from your Facebook, it can be your email list. For me, past events. These are business cards from past events. And I keep them in here, but I have them in what I call my CRM, Contact Relationship Management System. Now, some people may use an Excel spreadsheet, some people may just keep track of business cards. You may have these people on your LinkedIn, on your Facebook, on your Instagram. Where are they right now? Because a cold campaign, you don't know them yet, and they don't know you yet. But a warm re-engagement campaign, you have them. You have these names somewhere. You're just pulling them from different platforms, okay? So number one, you want to pull up your list as to who you're going to re-engage with. Does not mean that it has to be every single person. Okay? What you're looking to do is build that list who you want to re-engage with. I talk about this a lot in my group. I talk about this quite often. How I do it, I have 5 main segments, but then I break it down into subcategories. So number one are people that are not yet interested. I don't know quite if they are a potential lead. I don't know if they could be a potential referral partner. I just don't have enough information. They're not even pre-qualified yet. So those are number ones. Number twos are leads. Now, number twos, I either have a cold, a warm, or a hot lead. So number 2 is my second segment, and how we address the cold, warm, and hot are different. Number 3 would be my current clients, my members, my people that I'm in active relationships with already, and how we want to segment that and how we're going to re-engage with them, especially if you're in a position right now where you may have to pivot. Whether you're in the event industry or not, many of us are pivoting our strategies, yet the fundamentals are still relevant. So number 3 of that segmentation are clients. Number 4 for me are strategic partners, referral partners, are people that can serve some sort of value. Okay, and I want to re-engage with them, because rather than finding new people all the time in a cold market and constantly looking for new event planners and constantly looking for new people that can serve my audience, or new social media managers, or new people, I want to maximize and optimize the connections I already have. And then the 5th category, whether it's relevant or not, these are mentors, people that I want to meet. This is typically the category that I use when I work with clients that are going to trade shows, they're going to conferences, and they want to meet certain vendors. An example, I was out in California back in February preparing a client for an event. There are 600 companies that were going to be there at this 8,000 person event. Out of 600 companies, it's unrealistic to think that we can really build those relationships. So what we want to do is segment which companies should be in category number 5, which is who do we want to meet? Which of the 600 are who we want to meet, and narrowed it down to 20, 30 companies, right? So those are my 5 segments. So that's number 2. Now you can use that system. I've adopted and kind of tweaked it. Sarah Gretzinger, she is the founder of Savvy Networker. She uses a very similar system like that, and what I encourage is to create some sort of segment that works for you. Make sure that we have a clear intention. Intention means, what is it that you want to accomplish, and align your messaging with the segment. For instance, those 5 segments I just went over, each one of them may have a different intention. And that is the power of having that re-engagement campaign, or any campaign, is to make sure that your intention aligns with that messaging along with the segment. That's what we're looking in, especially in a re-engagement campaign, is to align those together. Because if you have someone who has already expressed interest and they're a hot lead, now it may be time to share that opportunity. But if you're sharing your opportunity to a number 1, we're all missing the boat completely. Because a number 1, we don't even know yet if they should be more aligned with a strategic partnership, a referral partner, or if they could actually be a great mentor to us. And if you're sharing that opportunity too soon or to the wrong segmentation, we may actually be leaving not only opportunity on the table, but the opportunity to build a business relationship that can introduce us to more aligned segments, more aligned connections that can open those doors to new networks, that can open those doors to share your message on different platforms. So your intention, that is number 3. Become very clear of what your intention is, and make sure that the intention aligns with your messaging per your segment. Once you identify who that target audience is, that's what we talked about, build out your list, build out your segment, and build out your messaging. Then we can go to step number 2 of the hopscotch, which is your call to action, okay? And your call to action at this point in the game is to continue the conversation. That could be either through a phone call, That could be through a Zoom call, that could be through coffee, not right now, it could be a virtual coffee. But what is the call to action? What is it that's going to take someone from the beginning of the customer journey and take them through is we have to play what I call hopscotch. Why I have this as a hopscotch? Because when you play hopscotch and you throw the pebble and this is where you want to go, you got to go from one to the next, right? What happens a lot of times, people jump from number 1 to number 7 with the expectation of getting to number 10. A lot of people are going from, hey, I don't know you yet, but hey, come to my webinar, come to my event, right? With the expectation of number 10, which is a discovery call. But what we're looking to do is re-engage. And what's neat about re-engagement campaigns is because you're building up that relationship, it becomes more appropriate to quote unquote throw that pebble to number 7, which is your invitation. Does it align, right? So what we're looking to do is re-engage, and the importance of a re-engagement campaign is because you have identified who and what the intention is, and then the call to action so that you can continue through that customer journey. Of just some ways, now that I've identified some of those different segments, of how we can do that, okay? So for our number 1s, these are people that we don't know yet. These are people that we maybe talk to, but we really don't even know if they're an ideal fit or if they're a strategic partner. Honestly, with these, just have some sort of general video, value piece, blog, article, and anyone that you have already talked to, but you're really trying to better understand where they are now and if what you have to offer could align, you can send them that value piece. The only call to action is to share value pieces and to better understand where they are right now, so you can better understand if they could be a potential lead, are they a potential referral partner, and how can you be a resource. Number 2 would be your prospects. Are they cold, warm, hot? Have they expressed some sort of interest already? However you choose your platforms that your target audience is on, what we're looking to do, we want to, 1, give them update. Keep them in the loop, because if it's been a while, and again, depending on your customer journey, depends on how long it's been, whether it's been 3 weeks, whether it's been 4 weeks, whether it's been 6 months, a year, whatever that time frame is, give them updates. Keep them in the loop, let them know that they were top of mind. And with that intention that we just covered, why? Why did you reach out, and why were they special? Why should they care that you're reaching out now? What has changed? Have you changed your offer? Have you changed your value pieces? Have you changed how you do business? What is the point, and why should they care? Give them some sort of incentive or promotion. It's been a little while. It does not have to be a price drop. It could be value add. I'm actually a big believer in not necessarily reducing prices, but adding value add. So whether it's a small offer like $97, instead of necessarily automatically dropping the price to $47, perhaps you keep that $97 because that's the price of that offer, but you add in additional value, limited time offer. Stick true to that. You don't want to say, oh, the first 10 people, and then really it's for everybody, or a one-time offer, and really you can get it at any time, right? So have some sort of incentive, promotion. People love promotions. They love things, whether it's, I'm not even talking freebies, but you want to have that intention to align with what they've already expressed in the past, and or if you have changed your offer. This is something actually to be very mindful of, especially in a time like now, is your offer still relevant? At one point when they expressed interest, But if you have changed your offer, or if you should consider changing your offer, given coronavirus, considering the change of the market, whatever the reason may be, is it still relevant? And ask that question, leaving that open-ended for them and say, look, here's what we've changed, here's what we're doing, here's why it's relevant, and here's why it's something to consider. Does this still align? The call to action at this point is continuing the conversation. And to be able to ask that permission to say, this is what we're doing, does it align? Please share with us what your current objectives are. Where are you now? What's going on with you? And if it does align, then you can continue that conversation. Okay? When it comes to clients, people that you're currently working with, okay? If you're in the event industry, these could be your sponsors, your exhibitors, your speakers, your clients. If you're not in the event industry, you could apply this same fundamental into your own business. Again, I work events, and what's happening is perhaps the current contract, the current scope of work for your clients may not be relevant. The deliverables may not be able to be delivered in the way that they were proposed. So what that means is we need to re-engage with this segment and ask them, get on a phone call. This is not something that should be through email. This should be a conversation, the same intention for a re-engagement. Here's what's going on. We acknowledge the situation. You're acknowledging what's going on. Again, it may or may not be relevant to coronavirus right now. A re-engagement campaign is, hey, here's the current situation. Here's where we are right now. Here's what our current contract has in place. And let's have a conversation. How does it align? Does it still align? That is what we are looking to accomplish. Because if that contract or that scope of work is no longer relevant, then re-engage, talk to your clients, what does make sense? So if you're re-engaging with clients, right, and this could work for prospects as well. If it's been a while, or if your contracts are no longer relevant right now, take that initiative and give them 2 to 3 solutions that are working right now and see if they would better align than what was currently in place. Give some sort of call to action to continue the conversation. Now I want to talk about your strategic partners and how to re-engage. These are not people that are using services. These are not people that are looking to enroll into my program. Number 4 are people that are strategic partnerships. And this is how, especially in the event industry, when things kind of went to a halt, has opened new doors to be on virtual summits, to be on podcast opportunities, to be introduced to new networks. What a re-engagement campaign for a strategic partner may look like. Same fundamentals, same thing that we just talked about. You're making your list, you're segmenting that list, and you're defining your intention and your messaging. Make sure that all 3 of those align. Who's on that list? What's that segmentation? The messaging and intention, do they align before you execute? This is an example. My intention is to provide value to our mutual audiences through a collaboration project. And how I'm going to do that is through a video collaboration. I've actually been on some other people's video summits and online events, and so building out that list, sending out, I'm using email and a combination of email, text message, LinkedIn, Facebook. Those are platforms, right? So I'm not as concerned what platforms you choose as I am the tactic, right? I'm sending out that re-engagement saying, hey, you came top of mind. This is why I'm reaching out. This is what's in it for you. This is why I'm excited to reconnect. And the call to action, does this align? This is who I'm in front of. This is why I thought of you. And this is what I would like you to be a part of. Are you in? If this is something that still aligns with what you're looking to accomplish, let's chat. Let's jump on a phone call. Let's discuss, right? So the process of the re-engagement is still the same, but my messaging and my intention per segment is different. Okay, that is what we're looking to do. Depending who you're talking to, it may shift, but the fundamentals, the elements of a re-engagement campaign remain the same. Again, if you're going after a cold market and you are attracting people for the very first time, you're given that first impression, we're starting from the very beginning of a customer journey. What a re-engagement campaign does is allows us to continue to engage, nurture the people that are familiar with us, but not yet working with us. And working with us may not necessarily be a client. It could be a collaboration. It could be a mutual beneficial business relationship, whatever it may be. If this is something that you want more information on, if you want to see exactly how I do this, that's where my YouTube comes into play. I'm going to be posting more videos, streaming, kind of behind the scenes. When I get on YouTube, I share my screen, I jump into my resources, and also the masterclass and execution group. I started my 5-day campaign in my group, Masterclass and Execution, and in day 1 of the masterclass and execution, we talk about attract, right? Right here. Now what this side is, I share this in the group, is how we do that and what are those steps. People in that group, they gain access for 9 days at a time to our vault. And our vault has all our resources. I only open it up 9 times a year. I have posts in there, I have resources, but I have links that go to templates, workbooks, and ways to actually execute the information into transformation. Okay, so YouTube and the group and LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn as well. I get on Facebook, here, there. Quite honestly, I jump on these Facebook Lives at a very high level, but when it comes to absorbing the information and actually putting it into action, that's where you want to jump into the group. And if you want more information how to access the vault, access more information, and also to engage with me how to take a re-engagement campaign into your own marketing, let me know and I will see you online.